It is Friday, the 16th of the 5th, 2025. The time is 20 minutes past 10. In the next 10 minutes, we're going to go through all that you need to know going in to the Imola Grand Prix, round 7, 2025, the F1 FIA World Drivers' Championship. Go on, in your first instance, let's talk some odds. Maximilian Verstappen, not fancied, not highly fancied at least. Bookmakers make him 14% to win the race, 18% to drop it on pole. Lando Norris, co-favourite to win the race with Oscar Jack Piastri. They give him 40% of the time. 35% to put it on pole. Oscar Piastri, 38%. Therefore, he has the whip hand as far as the fastest qualifier. Going into the race, there are a couple of things to note as far as momentum. Oscar Piastri is record-breaking unprecedented settings. Rarefied air, some would say, seeing that this, or last race at least, was the 32nd point-scoring consecutive outing from the one they call OJ Piastri. The only drivers in F1 history to do better than him. Lewis did 33. Lewis also did 48 point-scoring races consecutively. Maximilian Verstappen did 43. Ergo, OJ Piastri is breathing some rarefied air, therefore. However, if past his prologue, over the last 6 outings, qualifying and race at this Grand Prix, Maximilian Verstappen has nailed all but one. Max dropped it on pole last year and went on to win the race. So too in 2022. In 2021, Lewis Hamilton put it on pole, but Maximilian Verstappen went on to win the race. Max Verstappen has said he likes this track because, just like Suzuka, it's techier than techie things. A driver's track, therefore. But that being said, there is still momentum on McLaren's side. Why? Because Miami 2024 represented only McLaren's second race victory in 11 years. Since then, however, McLaren have gone on to win how many races? 11. Ladies and gentlemen, in that MCL 3.9, they have the whip hand. And that means, therefore, there were questions being asked of how they're doing it, mitigating for the rate at which their tyres deg. The FIA since have cleared them, though they investigated Oscar Jack Piastri's car 81 last race weekend, cleared it of all wrongdoing. There were arguments, theories being bandied around about phase-changing materials. They've said, though, that that's bull feathers. There is an all-cure of an article in 10.8.4, and in there it says the technical regulations, which relates to the treatment of tyres, outlaws the use of anything other than air to help control tyre temperatures. Therefore, as far as McLaren are concerned, all that they are doing is legal as far as the FIA are concerned, and it relates to sound engineering and or airflow. As far as the track, though, here's where it gets techier than techie things. This is what you need to know. PU load 88%, brake wear 54%, downforce level 61%, tyre wear 39%. Tyre wear will be important, but not half as important as it was at the Miami Grand Prix, because the temperature, both air and track, will be cooler. Percentage of the lap on full throttle 58%, braking 21%, average speed 224.9 kilometers per hour, gear changes per lap 44 of them. Now, for broader track context, you can't even see me. Look, your boy's got his due diligence in, of course. 4.9 kilometers the length, 63 laps. Most team wins Red Bull, most race wins probably in the modern day era, one Maximilian Verstappen. Interesting funny fact, Imola is the true home circuit of Ferrari in Formula 1, located only an hour from its Maranello factory. Here's what else you need to know around the track circumstance. Because Laura Winter told us that a couple of different things have happened between this year and last. They are as follows. Turn 3, turn 12, turn 18, the white lines at the apex, as in turn 7, 11, 12 and 19. The exits of those turns have been extended by 15 millimeters. Surely this has to matter. I think we'll be seeing track infringements up and down the grid, but I digress. Here's what else you need to know as far as weather circumstances. Minimal chance of rain. Currently 10% on Saturday, 20% on Sunday. And that's significant. Again, if we're having the conversation under the umbrella heading of Maximilian Verstappen. being able to close the gap on those McLaren boys in that papaya coloured car. So too, we've been told by Frederick Vasseur that this is a qualifying championship, ergo the emphasis will be on putting it on pole. Very difficult to overtake around Imola. It's a techier than techie things track. A lot of the lap time as a percentage of the whole will be gained around low minimum speed turns, the chicane ones. Therefore, if Maximilian Verstappen can do as he's done in each of the past 2 years in 24 and 22, then he puts himself in the best standing to win himself 25 points. Though that being said, you can see the gap's going to be small. And again, if you're a betting belligerent degenerate like me, then I don't know, better places to put your money than Max Verstappen, you might argue. Max Verstappen, 3 poles this year, says Daniel Valente on Twitter, have been attributable even to a combined gap of only 0.087, 0.01 in Suzuka, 0.01 again in Jeddah, and 0.065. It is close. Therefore, these drivers will be making the difference. Oh, and by the way, if we're talking upgrades, there's this cheeky upgrade over at Red Bull, and this is going to be important, right? Lest we forget that Red Bull's circumstance and handling dynamic has been blighted by the multitudinous aerodynamic and mechanical fails that have manifest in understeer settings. And again, if there are a track around which you can't afford to have understeer, this then would be one. You can see that they've done something around their side pod inlet, their famed overbite side pod inlet of the RB21. So too, Mercedes have brought a gazillion things. Front wing, can't see me again, of course you can't. Front wing, you don't need to see me anyway. Front wing, suspension, new slope engine cover. They are in the running, are they not? There's a couple of other things I want to update you guys on because this is important. As far as Imola, driver's track settings, again, I don't know if past this prologue, this is the opportunity for one of these bods to make a stand, is it not? To understand that the track time will be gained in the low minimum speed turns, and therefore you've got to be thinking Lando potentially, because he doesn't hate an Imola, does he? If past his prologue he goes well around there, so too went well around there last year. There was only a couple tenths when all was said and done in 2024 between Lando Norris and the one that they call Maximilian Verstappen. We will see shortly going into the Imola Grand Prix race weekend which one of those bods can nail it this time around, and I'm here for it. I think it's going to be a pivotal one. Upgrades, these drivers and teams will be looking to divest out of their 2025 project if the upgrades don't work at Imola. We are now quarter of the way through 2025, meaning therefore this is the law of diminishing returns. In the final year of the ground effect rule and regs, this is convergent settings. Last roll of the dice for the likes of Aston Martin, Haas potentially too, and maybe to Red Bull Racing. If Christian Horner can't get it right, Pierre Vacher can't get it right, then what else would you expect them to do? So too, you've got to consider the circumstance over at Alpine. Chaos settings, techier than techie things always. They don't even have a team principal, not a licensed one anyway, because Fabio Briatore doesn't tick those accreditation boxes. Therefore, he's a standing and executive advisor. Oh, and by the way, the circumstance around Ollie Oates continues to develop. We don't know why he's in Dubai. We don't know why his brother was caught with a gazillion pounds of cash. Potentially it has something to do with the fact that they were looking to purchase Alpine. And potentially, per rumour, if F1 word on the curb is something in which you can be invested. Potentially it has something to do with the links between Ollie Oakes and the legend that is goated settings, Nikita Mazepin. Stay tuned. Be back for FP1 in a couple of hours. Between now and then, prosecution rests. No further questions, Your Honour.